Thank you. Given the fact that the minister was instructing, not soliciting our views of the disbandment of the PKTT, I deemed it necessary to speak to the President about the issue. I spoke to the President on the 1st of February 2025. During this meeting, I mentioned the Minister's directive to disband such a successful team, and the President told me that he would speak to the Minister. Of course, I didn't really require from the President to say whether I agree or not, but I did tell him that this team is being dissolved, reason unknown, and I said if ever it has to be done, it cannot even be done in this abrupt manner because I don't know what we are chasing. And that's when he says no, he will speak to the Minister.
You went to the President. You did speak to the President.
Yes, I did speak to.
Thank you.
Informing of the importance of providing an initial briefing regarding the establishment and activities of PKTT. The Minister indicated his willingness to schedule time for this discussion. At the same time, there were adverse media reports pertaining to crime intelligence. The Minister subsequently called me to express his intention to appoint a senior counsel to investigate various issues highlighted in the media, including the appointment of Brigadier Lekhalanyane and Brigadier Mokwele, the security clearance of General Dimsani Khumalo, and the murder of Sindiso Magaga. I assured him that detailed information on these topics was readily available and reiterated my request again to brief him comprehensively on matters related to crime intelligence and the PKTT. The Minister agreed to a briefing on the afternoon of the 16th of January.
So if I can just ask you to pause there. Those issues that the Minister had expressed that he had an intention to appoint a senior counsel to investigate, did those topics or issues form part of the issues that you had been wanting to brief the Minister on?
That is correct. All those issues, including because he even asked me, including the murder of Sindiso Magaga. And then I explained to him, yes, including that case, because the only time you see those media articles is because of the work of the PKTT.
Let's then proceed one to one.
On that day, Lieutenant General Dimsani Khumalo and myself, which is the 16th of January, briefed the Minister with a thorough update on the aforementioned matters as well as ongoing counter-intelligence investigations, and reminded the Minister that a briefing on the PKTT should still be held. The briefing included an identified syndicate with significant influence and or connections politically and or within law enforcement and the criminal justice system. The report included the identity of senior subs officers who are associated with criminal syndicates and or who are advancing or protecting the interest of what's called Big Five within the law enforcement criminal justice system.
What is that? the animals.
No, it's not the animal, Commissioner. It's people that are involved in criminal syndicates. They were just termed by the team to be called the Big Five.
Is this specific individuals or is it a generic term?
Yes, Commissioner, there are specific names attached to those individuals or attached to the so-called Big Five.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, can I ask, as I understand, those issues involve issues of crime intelligence, and those are the aspects that General Kumalo is going to speak to. And I'm aware, you might not know this, I'm aware that the intention is that part of his evidence, there's going to be an application that is going to be made to the commission, that it be heard in camera. That's how far I'm able to deal with that issue.
Correct.
Chair Commissioners, yes.
If an application for in-camera proceedings will be granted.
Yes, no, Chair. There's a separate team that is running that issue.
Yes.
And of course.
No, I thought I should just record the if.
Yes, the if. Yes.
Thank you.
No, thanks for that. Of course, that application has to satisfy the criteria. And General, if we can then continue. You say Lieutenant General Sibia was included as one of the senior sub-officers involved with criminal syndicate. The details of this briefing cannot be publicly disclosed given the crime intelligence implications. In fact, when we briefed the minister, he was given a hard copy of the briefing note, and after the briefing note, he had to return the copy. And as a result, the minister saw the names of the implicated persons, which included Lieutenant General Sibia, Katiso Molefe, and Ket Matlala. Can I just ask, I'm running ahead of your statement. I'm moving from paragraph 121 to paragraph 179. Perhaps starting from 178 to give context. On 178, you deal with the summary of the report of the investigation into the alleged misconduct of Lieutenant General Sibia. I'll come back to the other details at a later stage, but there are two things that I'd like you to deal with out of these allegations. If you turn to page 58 of your statement, paragraph 179.5. There you say there are unsubstantiated. Well, so one of the issues that you wanted the investigator to look into, or the person that had been appointed to conduct this investigation, was alleged associations. And at that stage, it says there are unsubstantiated allegations that Lieutenant General Sibia has associations with individuals under investigation by subs, including Mr. Vusi Matlala. These allegations require further criminal investigation. Now, the question that I'm asking you is this. If you look at this paragraph, it says the allegations at this stage are unsubstantiated and they require further criminal investigation. You see that? 179.5. And if you look back at paragraph 121, it says, the part that I just read, Lieutenant General Sibia was included as one of the senior subs officers involved with criminal syndicate. And can I ask you to clarify to the commission what is the status of these allegations? Because you see, on the one hand, it says unsubstantiated, and in the earlier part, the allegations, well, the association is put as a fact.
Thanks, commissioners.
So that when the commissioners apply themselves to this issue, they've got to understand what your evidence is.
Yeah, commissioners, this is a matter that is under investigation, and one, of course, will never say, you can never qualify it. For now, you can say it's unsubstantiated allegations until it is fully investigated and proven. That's what I would like to say at this stage.
So between these two versions, the commissioners should go with the one at 179.5.
And the one of 179.5.
To say that they are still currently being investigated and they're not substantiated.
Correct, commissioners.
Okay.
Mr. Ndau, may I just ask this? My understanding of 121, the part that you referred to, is what was contained in the briefing to the minister. And then later on, in the later paragraph, it's an instruction to the person appointed to conduct an inquiry. So it's not a case of choosing, at least for the commissioners, to choose the one or the other, but it's recording what was said to the minister and then something slightly different to the investigator. Yeah. Am I...
Perhaps the issue will become clear, I think, when we get to deal with it later. But I understand, Commissioner Aloy, there's nothing wrong with that categorization, that the one is a factual recorder of what was presented to the minister during the presentation in that hard copy. And then the other one relates to an investigation that was conducted internally and the terms of reference that were given to the investigator. I think we'll not pitch it higher than that.
Thank you.
Thanks. But the point then that you make, returning to 121, is that the consequence that you refer to in the last sentence in paragraph 121, you say, following that presentation that was given to the minister in that hard copy, he saw the three names of these implicated persons: Lieutenant General Sibia, Mr. Katiso Molefe, and Mr. Ket Matal. And that is...
Yeah, that's correct, commissioners.
That is on the 16th. And then your point that you were making earlier is then on the 17th of January, which is on paragraph 122. The letter that General Sibia had brought to you on the 14th and the 15th, which you refused to sign, he proceeded to issue it himself under his own name.
That's correct, commissioners.
And you state in that paragraph that by so doing, by issuing that letter, contrary to what you had indicated to him, it was in defiance of your instruction to implement the minister's disbandment instruction and to prepare a report essentially justifying the decision to disband the PKTT. So when he did that, you say he disobeyed your instruction.
That's correct, commissioners.
And can I ask you to turn to that letter? It is at page 376 of Masemula 2.
there, General?
I am there. Thanks.
Thanks. Yes, and I'm going to refer you to some portions of this letter, in which General Sibia deals with certain aspects regarding the disbandment, and I'll take you back to your statement where you say you've considered all of these aspects that he was suggesting, but even implementing the disbandment in the terms as he had stipulated here would still have a disruptive effect. And if I can then ask you, General, to start on 376, paragraph 3. This is after he deals with the establishment of the task team, the minister's letter of the 31st of December. Then in paragraph 3, says the directive requires immediate compliance with appropriate measures to be undertaken to ensure the effective disbandment of the entity PKT in accordance with current prescripts in this regard. If I can perhaps just ask you there, throughout it is the PKTT and now it is the N, which represents national. Is there any reason for that change?
There won't be any change according to me. I take it that it still referred to the PKTT and it's the same as the NTTPK. Same, it refers to the same team basically.
And he says there, with appropriate measures to be undertaken to ensure the effective disbandment of the task team in accordance with the current prescripts in this regard. What are these prescripts that he is referring to that govern or set out appropriate measures that need to be undertaken to ensure the effective disbandment of the task team? Do you know?
No, I don't know those measures.
And he continues, he says, these measures must ensure that ongoing investigations are not disrupted or compromised.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know what the how part, what does he refer? I don't know.
You didn't engage him on this? Did you get a chance to engage him on this?
When he brought this letter to me, the 15th, when I look at it, I scanned it. The only area that I said I don't agree with, I said, I can see whatever you do, but I do not want this immediate disbandment of now, because you say all this, but you still want immediate disbandment. And I told you that if ever we disband, we should wind the team down.
And you indicated, you concluded by saying he must leave it with you, you will implement it.
Yes, no, I concluded by saying that don't even write anything, the report to the minister. I will do it myself. And once we got approval from the minister, if he agree or disagree with me, we'll take it from there. And only then we'll start implementing.
Did you have an opportunity to consider paragraph 3.7 of his letter during those engagements? 3.7, page 378.
And the one talking 3.7.
Stakeholder communication. All internal and external stakeholders must be notified in writing about the disbandment of the task team, the transition plan for ongoing cases, and the future protocol. Did you have a chance to consider that aspect of the letter?
No. I didn't really consider the whole letter, but the issue there would be who should do that external stakeholder engagement, because if ever it should be done, done by him or myself, if it has to be done.
And paragraph 4, a comprehensive closing report must be submitted by 16 January 2025, confirming compliance with the aforementioned directive. And he goes on to talk about how it should be structured. And you've indicated this letter, he signed it on the 17th.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have, there is no report that would have been in by the 16th of January then.
And then 4.5, 379, stakeholder feedback. Input from key stakeholders in response to the announced disbandment of the task team, for example, comments by the NPA and SSA. I take it that you also did not consider
No.
that aspect.
No, I didn't consider that. I just said, as long as you talk of immediate disbandment, so just leave this and leave it for me to come up with a plan.
And I'm pointing you to these aspects, General, just in case there is going to be a narrative that says, but some of these things that you wanted to be done on a gradual basis were still there. And you say in your statement, you considered this plan when he was talking to you about it, and you still decided that or concluded that it wasn't going to effectively address your concerns.
Yeah, in other words, I wanted that he should come up with a plan,
Yes.
not writing a letter that there must be a plan coming from somewhere. He should come with this winding down plan that clearly says what and how it should happen, not writing somewhere else, looking for somebody to do a plan.
And in paragraph 126 of your statement, you continue to deal with parts of the contents of this letter. You will see you start with a reference to the contents from paragraph 123, 124, 125. And paragraph 126. You see that?
I see that, commissioners.
And if perhaps you can deal with that conclusion in 127. You say you found something peculiar with that instruction letter.
Yeah, I said that I found it peculiar that the instruction letter from General Sevilla required the closing report to include the very same information, the very same information that the minister ought to have considered at the time when he made the decision to disband the PTT, not after he had taken the decision, such as a summary of the key consideration that resulted in the decision to disband the PKTT, because it's not Kumar is the minister.
So this is information that is sought after the fact, but not prior, which information would be needed for purposes of deciding whether to disband the task team or not.
Yeah, so that such information should be part of the assessment that was done, that is referred to in the minister's letter, before he come to the conclusion to disband.
And perhaps just before we proceed on 128, if I can just ask you to tie in a point that you make in paragraph 126, the second sentence, as previously stated. 126, second sentence, as previously stated?
That's the fourth line of 126.
As previously stated, the PKTT was formed because the existing investigative units were ill-equipped to handle the sophisticated nature of political killings and organized crime. In fact, Lieutenant General Sibia's instruction was to abandon an effective model and revert to a model so unsuccessful that the president had to intervene to establish IMC to address this killing.
So in 126 and 127, you mentioned at least two reasons why you had a difficulty with Lieutenant General Sibia's approach.
That's correct, commissioners.
And if we go to 128,
Mr. Medal, before you go to 128, which I think is a different discussion, so maybe still on this letter. General, this letter from General Sibia does give instructions for immediate implementation, setting up temporary transition teams. In fact, he says in paragraph 3, the directive requires immediate compliance in paragraph 3 of that letter. And then there's a whole list of effective measures that must be taken. People must go back to their stations, equipment and vehicles allocated must be redistributed. So this is a letter that, on receiving it, in my understanding, the recipient, it's directed to the Divisional Commissioner Crime Intelligence. What was the instruction after you received the letter and you are now from the minister and you are now back in your office and you are interacting with the content of the instruction from the minister? What was your instruction to your divisional commissioners? And I'm more interested specifically the instruction to Sibia, to General Sibia.
Yeah, the instruction to him was go and draw a plan that would wind down the team. Yes. Not go give instructions, come back to me with a plan that detail that this is a wind down plan of the team.
Yes.
That's what I wanted from him.
Yes.
And I did mention that not this immediate disbandment, so you must stay away from that. Develop a plan that talk to, firstly, the work of the team up to so far, and thereafter come up with a wind down plan as to how should we are going to wind down the team in a phased out approach.
Yes. And before that instruction to General Sibia and others, what was his involvement, if any, with the work of this task team?
He was never involved. The little I remember, he attended one briefing in KZN.
Yes.
Other than that, he would recommend when financial authorities comes, he will recommend them forward to me. But the detailed work of the team, as far as I know, no, he was never involved.
So, in according to you, would he have been in a position to brief the minister? If he had briefed the minister on the team, on this task team, would he have been in a proper position to do that, given what you know about his involvement or non-involvement with the team?
Yeah, the way I know his involvement, no, he would not have been capable, he wouldn't have been able to brief the minister on the work of the team at all, no. Maybe the former minister, yes, could better brief the current minister much better, not General Sibia.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mta.
thank you, Commissioner Madu. And I think earlier on in your statement, you made the point, and we've dealt with it, that the three people that could have briefed the minister, yourself, General Mkwanazi, and General Khumalo, were not requested to provide a briefing, and you never provided that briefing. briefing prior to the decision of immediate disbandment being taken.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And if we can then turn to paragraph 128, we are going to deal there with the paragraph that leads us to the report of the 20th of January 2025 that was then prepared and you submitted. Deal with that paragraph.
On paragraph 28, Lieutenant General Dumisani Kumalo prepared the report for the minister and submitted it to me in order for me to present it to the minister on the 20th of January 2025. Of course, I also worked on the report myself with the legal services. I was informed by the minister's office that he would only be in the office on the 22nd of January 2025. I waited for the minister to return on the 22nd of January 2025. I submitted the report to him. The report is annexed as SFM 11 on the
Masemula 2.
SFM 2.
That's at page 381. If I can ask you to turn to 382, because on 381 it's a covering letter from yourself to the minister. Then the report itself starts at 382. In paragraph 1, you deal with the filling of posts, which was the first point in the minister's letter. Those posts within crime intelligence. Then the second point, you deal with ports of entry. And the third point, by 20 January 2025. And the report is provided as follows. In 3.1, you deal with the background to its establishment. 3.2, the threat assessment overview. And if you proceed, in 3.3, you deal with the current strength of the National Task Team. If I can ask you to deal with that. Because here you are highlighting the strengths to the minister.
Okay, on 3.
Yes, on page 385.
Yeah, 385.
It's
Says that the National Task Team is a task team consisting of 102 members from different specialities drawn from different provinces within subs as follows.
and then there you give the breakdown of the expertise.
Correct.
I don't think we need to get into those details, but proceed underneath that.
Further, the team has since been allocated a team of 16 dedicated prosecutors from the Organized Crime Unit of KwaZulu-Natal National Prosecuting Authority.
And then in paragraph 3.4, you deal with the progress report on cases. Under 3.4.1, it's investigation and prosecution of political related cases in KwaZulu-Natal. And the statistics are provided underneath that. If you turn over the page, you deal with the investigation and prosecution status of allocated politically related cases. And you proceed. I'd like you to deal with 3.4.3, where you say this, or where the report deals with the status of arrested suspects on politically related cases. The numbers are provided. You'll see it says from July 2018 to date, meaning the date on which you are submitting the report to the minister being the 20th. When it was prepared, 20th, submitted on the 22nd.
Yeah, if it's submitted on the 22nd January, it means the report would have been gone up to end of February.
And then the 388 suspects you deal with, and you give the breakdown there. But I needed to deal with what you say after giving the breakdown. It must be highlighted. Please, if you ask me to deal with that.
Yeah, it must be highlighted that 34 SAPS members were arrested and charged on various related charges, including be involved in the killings or defeating the cause of justice on political related cases. These include former Sergeant Dlamini, whose case is all of a sudden making headlines. All arrests and factual reports were submitted to the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal for departmental processes to be initiated.
This issue of Sergeant Dlamini, you deal with it later in your statement. And perhaps we'll deal with it there when you get to that portion. But it's one of the matters that you reported to the minister on. Then 3.44, you deal with the breakdown of the role of the 388 suspects that had been arrested. And then in 3.4.5, you deal with parallel dockets linked to political related cases. And if I can just ask you to proceed from there to go to 3.5.3 on 389.
On 387.
389, paragraph 3.5.3. Investigation of University of Fort Hare murder cases.
Okay, thanks, Commissioners. During January 2022, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Fort Hare lodged a complaint with the President of the Republic of South Africa regarding the murder of staff and officials of the university and the slow pace of the investigation thereof. The National Commissioner of SAPS directed that the National Task Team investigating political related cases in KwaZulu-Natal take over the investigation of these cases as from January
2023. I think if I can just ask you to stop there. You remember Commissioner Kumalo asked whether the minister, having regard to what he says in his letter, whether was he aware that the task team had extended its mandate, or its mandate had been extended beyond KZN. You recall earlier?
Correct.
And you said at that stage, he would not, according to you, you don't know, and you don't think he would have been aware prior to the disbandment letter and instruction that he had provided. And at least on your engagement with the minister, you inform him after he has taken this decision in this report, which is after the fact. You understand? This information, at least on what we have now, there's nothing that shows that the minister was aware of this extension of the scope prior to him writing that letter.
That is correct, Commissioners. Yes, he might not have been aware before, but after. But I also need to just correct, I think on paragraph 353,
353, yes.
Yeah, the date there, January 2022, and on the second paragraph, January 2023. I think the first paragraph, January 2022, is incorrect. It should be 2023 also. The paragraph below 353.
Yes. So it should be January 2023.
Correct.
Thank you. And then you also deal with the complaints that were referred to the minister against the task team. If you go to 392, paragraph 3.6, you say cases highlighted by critics of the task team. The following cases have been referred to in letters written to the minister in which accusations have been leveled against the task team. And you deal with those three cases that had been identified, or at least which had been brought to the minister's attention. Correct?
That is correct, Commissioners.
And then in paragraph 3.7 at 395, you also bring to the minister's attention the extension of the National Task Team's mandate. In paragraph 3.7, to deal with the House of Traditional Leaders. Yes, if I can just ask you to deal with that.
That is correct, Commissioners. 3.7, extension of the National Task Team mandate. Since April 2024, after concerns were raised by the House of Traditional Leaders and South African Local Government Association to the Presidency, a directive was issued that the task team's mandate be extended to include the investigation and prosecution of cases involving the killings of traditional leaders in KwaZulu-Natal with effect from April 2024. This resulted in additional 50 case dockets allocated to the team. 48 are murder, 1 is attempted murder, 1 is kidnapping.
And then if I can just ask you to skip the breakdown of the cases. And
Mr. Matau, maybe to help you because it's almost 4 o'clock, if the General can just conclude by letting us know who issued that directive referred to that.
Do you follow that?
Okay, I follow that. That directive was issued by myself, the National Commissioner.
So it was not the President?
No. I had a meeting with the Minister of Police and Minister of Cocta. And after that meeting, I said to them, this is the way forward, how I'm going to deal with the matter. I'm going to give the matter to the political killings task team.
In fact, you did deal with it in your evidence earlier when you said you issued an instruction to implement the extension of that scope. And if I could perhaps conclude, Chair and members of the Commission, with the conclusion on page 406, paragraph 3.11. You indicated to the Minister your view regarding the performance of the task team. If I can just ask you to just deal with that. In other words, from the words the task team until politically motivated matters.
Yeah, the paragraph 311 in the conclusion, the task team has undeniably achieved and far exceeded the purpose for which it was established. No other task team in South Africa has achieved these successes nor has been able to investigate and ensure successful prosecution of the perpetrators of politically motivated murders.
I think if perhaps we can stop at that point if it's convenient, and then Chair and members of the Commission, I'll just deal with a few of the aspects that are touched on in that conclusion. Had the Minister expressed any dissatisfaction or concern about the PKTT and its activities and that it was not performing satisfactorily?
No, he never expressed any dissatisfaction or unhappiness. Hence, he was not even yet briefed about what PKTT is and what it does.
Before you do that, General, do you have any knowledge how this letter would have ended up in the media on the 2nd of January?
I have got no idea as to how.
It's not from your office.
As far as I know, no, it's not from my office.
Thank you.
Yes, then 112, you say at a later stage?
At a later stage, the President did inform me that he did discuss the issue with the Minister. He did not inform me on what details they discussed.
Did he tell you what outcome they reached on the issue?
No.
And is that where you left it with the President?
Yeah, that's where I ended. As I said, well, I didn't expect President to get to an operational matter, but I did tell him that there is this issue. And I said, if ever it has to be done, it should be a process of winding down and not this abrupt manner. And from there, well, later I did. That's why later then I already, by that time I already submitted a report to the Minister, the one that was due on the 20th, where I described, or I was explaining to the Minister that if you disband this team, this is the best way on the how part, and I described that it should be a wind down and it should be a phased out approach and not this abrupt. But still, as and when we meet, I kept on asking the Minister, but what is the reason for the disbandment of the team? I never really got a real reason as to why.
As a follow-up to your discussion with the Chair, what is available to you, whether from your employment terms, whether the laws that govern your position and policies, what is available to you as a mechanism should you disagree with the Minister, for example, on the decision such as this? Is there anything available structurally that allows you to escalate the matter or to pursue a particular course to get resolution other than trying to meet with the Minister? Is there structurally anything that you can do about it?
Yeah, well, the only avenue I know is the President. Other than that, well, in this case, General Konazi did report to the Portfolio Committee on Police. There was no assistance. So, I don't know. Basically, I can't take my own minister to court.
Yes.
So, there is no any other avenue.
You went to the President. You did speak to the President
yes,
about
I did
it.
speak to.
Thank you.
And I can't go to court, taking the same minister to court. There was no such a rule.
But as we are sitting here today, forget about the report. As we are sitting here today, have you disbanded the task team in accordance with the minister's instructions?
haven't sent out a letter to disband the task team. But however, I'm aware that proposals that have been made here, some people end up starting implementing them, but the task team was never disbanded. That I haven't signed. I kept renewing the authorities for it to continue working.
Yeah, there is a big problem here. Listening to the Madlanga Commission, you would understand, as Masemula was giving his evidence, you could pick up that Cyril Ramaphosa is fooling our people because he is pretending like he didn't know what was happening in the task team. I think South Africans, as they listen to this commission, the Madlanga Commission, they will get to understand that Cyril is not in that position to upgrade our people, but to destroy Isoleto. That is what he's there for. And he is doing it slowly, slowly, and sure. He started with the ANC to finish the ANC. Now that he feels that he has finished the ANC, now he is continuously destroying Isoleto. My question to South Africans, Zuma, when it was discovered that he had the Nkandla problem, he was removed. Thabo Mbeki, that there was a rumor that he wanted to go for the third term, he was removed. What is it that is so special about Ramaphosa? He has done a lot of scandals. He's connected to the underworld. He was found with dollars in his coach. Nothing happened. The Marikana issue, nothing happened. CR17 documents are still sealed. Nothing has happened. Until when South Africans are going to wake up and say, enough is enough? I think it is high time, when you listen to this commission, that Cyril himself has to go to the commission and explain himself as to what did he do immediately he was told. This commission has been set very late. He knew before. It's either he was part of the scheme that wanted to destroy because he wanted to protect Ket Mahlala, as you see him, we're in the picture with Ket Mahlala. He was protecting his people in that world, that dark world of theirs. Until when are we going to be fooled like this? This is becoming too much. We know with the democracy that we have in our country, we mustn't wait until we lose it. It's better ukuthi senze izinto manje kusese early than ukuthi kuqalwe phansi kuse kuluzwe lokho, because to build something from scratch, it's not easy, but to destroy it, it's very easy. I think abantu bakithi, they will wake up and smell the coffee. We need to wake up and smell the coffee. This guy is finishing the ANC, he's finishing the country. And there's no reason why he's doing it. Maybe because he's a business person, as it's been said. Because people who have got business, they destroy so that they can make money when they rebuild with his friends. Family, what do you think about this? Does it keep Ramaphosa innocent as we hear all this testifying going on? Because there is a big five that Masemula talked about. That is going to be said in camera. We are not going to be told who are those big five. If it was Malema, we were going to know. There was no reduction or whatever. If it was Malema, they were not going to classify this. If it was Zuma, they were not going to classify this. What is going on here? I hope the ad hoc committee will push very hard to know those names in the big five. Because on Thursday, we understand the hero is going to be in the ad hoc committee, the general, who has put us where we are today. Otherwise, we would have woke up on the other side of the land, because we're sitting in the country thinking that we still have it, when there were people in the underworld who were taking it slowly. But Masemula, with his team, decided to stop all this. We should applaud Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. He has done us proud. He deserves us to protect him. Family, what do you think about this? Drop your comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And turn on content. What do you think about Cyril hiding everything? Bravo, bravo, bravo.